Hello, so today we'll be going over our presentation for Bio107 titled Climate Change, a Real Global Threat. This presentation was done by Madison Tran, Gianni Balderrama, Alexandra Lapikova, and Mia Arzate. Let's get into it. Imagine living in a world where your future feels uncertain not just because of your own personal goals or personal life, but because the planet you live on feels unstable. The environment you are surrounded by feels unstable. In actuality, this is the reality for many people who are directly impacted by climate change. Climate change doesn't only affect the physical environment, but it also affects people's minds and communities. In this presentation, our group will explain what climate change is, how it affects our well being, and what we can do about it. So let's go over the contents for today's presentations. Number one, what is climate change? Number two, its impact on society. Number three, real life examples. Number four, relation to mental health. Number five, call to action. And number six, conclusion.
Let's start off with what climate change and global warming really mean and why they matter. First, climate change isn't just about rising temperatures, it's about how the entire climate system is shifting. That includes changes in rainfall patterns, more intense storms, longer droughts, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. These aren't random weather events, they're patterns that are shifting over decades because the planet's balance is off. Global warming is one part of that. It refers specifically to the increase in the Earth's average surface temperature, largely due to the greenhouse effect. And here's how that works. When we burn fossil fuels, we release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, and nitrous oxide, N2O. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, kind of like putting a blanket around the Earth. A, a little is natural and necessary, but too much creates overheating. We know this isn't just theory because we've gone over a century of scientific research to back it up. The first link between carbon dioxide and heat was made back in the late 1800s. By the 1950s, scientists were actively measuring CO2 levels in the atmosphere, and they noticed it was going up fast. Since then, NASA, NOAA, and the IPCC have collected data from satellites, deep ocean buoys, polar ice cores, and more. It all points to the same conclusion: the planet is warming, and human activities, especially the use of fossil fuels, are the driving force. That's why 97% of climate scientists agree on this. There's no major scientific debate anymore, just an urgent call to take action.
Hi guys, so I'll be going over climate change and society. So, climate change reshapes the way society functions. First and foremost, the environmental impacts are massive. Rising sea levels threaten coastal cities, droughts affect water supply and farming, hurricanes and wildfires are growing more frequent and are destructive. Then we see the economic fallout. When storms damage roads, homes, and farms, rebuilding costs billions of dollars. Many people, especially in agriculture and fishing, lose their jobs as conditions become unpredictable, and basic needs like food and clean water become much more expensive. Lastly, public health takes a major hit from poor air quality, from wildfires, smoke, or pollution leads to more asthma and respiratory issues. Longer and hotter heat waves increase. Also, the risk of heat stroke, especially for children and the elderly. After flooding, we see outbreaks of waterborne illness, which spread quickly in vulnerable communities. These are not future problems, they're already happening and they're growing even worse, especially for low income and marginalized communities. Now I'll be going over the mental health effects of climate change. So, we often talk about physical destruction from climate change, but it's also an emotional crisis, especially for the young people. One big mental health challenge is eco anxiety, that constant feeling of worry or helplessness about what the future looks like. This anxiety can lead to sleeplessness, burnout, or even panic attacks. For those directly affected by disasters like wildfires, hurricanes, or floods, many experience PTSD or post traumatic stress. Imagine losing your home overnight or seeing your neighborhood destroyed. These events leave deep psychological scars. Then there's climate grief. This is a sadness people feel from losing things they love, such as animals, forests, even entire communities. For Indigenous people and nature connected cultures, this loss is especially painful. According to a 2024 study, 60% of young people worldwide say that they're very worried about climate change. And over 40 people say it negatively affects their daily life. So the emotional toll is very real and it's still growing.
Let's look at how climate change is affecting real people right now. In 2023, The Guardian reported on the devastating wildfires in Lahaina, Maui. Thousands of families lost their homes and communities, and many are still displaced months later. What's worse is that the region's poverty rate has doubled since the fires. Survivors are not only dealing with financial instability, but also the emotional trauma of losing everything. This isn't just a natural disaster. It's a long-term mental health and housing crisis caused by climate-driven conditions like extreme heat and drought. And it's not just older generations being affected. Another Guardian article highlights that many teens and young adults are hesitant to have children because of climate anxiety. A major survey found that 40% of young people globally say climate change makes them question whether they want to start a family. They're not just worried about the environment, they're worried about their future, their security, and their mental well being. These aren't distant or abstract fears, they're real experiences from people losing homes, feeling overwhelmed, and changing how they imagine their lives. So, climate change isn't just a scientific issue, it's a deeply personal and emotional reality for millions.
Connection between environment and mental health. From urban environments to low income housing, all are affected. Urban environments act as a heat reservoir, leading to increased irritability and aggression. Meanwhile, noise and air pollution can affect an individual's quality of life, as they are more likely to experience sleep disorders and respiratory issues. Due to these factors, the suicide rate in high density populations is higher, and people have reported feeling isolated. Low income communities, on the other hand, are often neglected and suffer the most consequences because of climate change. Aside from structural issues, which include radon gas poisoning and poor ventilation, often causing mold and pests, this leads to chronic illnesses, asthma, and allergies. The old lead pipes can contaminate clean drinking sources. Two popular examples of this would be either Flint, Michigan, or Cancer Alley in Louisiana. These are valid reasons to be worried about, and in some cases can cause trauma and anxiety aside from the very obvious health issues. To help combat climate change and promote mental health, it's important to remember that the environment that you surround yourself with reflects your mental health. It's important to incorporate green spaces and walkable city planning to promote physical activity and since have been proven to reduce stress and depression. A popular custom in Japan is called forest bathing. It's been proven to reduce blood pressure and reduce anxiety. Funding relief programs and access to mental health sources in the aftermath of natural disasters can help individuals process the traumatic events. And it is important to stay educated and promote education about eco-anxiety to protect the mental health of younger adults.
Call to action. So, what we can do to help the issue. Number one, we have to take care of our own mental health. So we can't feel overwhelmed to the point of apathy, thinking that nothing we can do will ever matter and that the issue is too large for us. In fact, we have to find hope in everything and remember that no matter what little effort we make, it always goes a long way. If everyone had the mentality of apathy and thinking that this cause is hopeless, In fact, our environment would be in great danger. So, in fact, we have to do things like number 2, support environmental justice. So, something like attending forums or rallies and signing petitions will always be a big help to support those who directly work to help the environment. And also, another big thing is to share awareness with others who might not know about the issue. In fact, a big excuse for many is that they have their own day to day life they have to worry about. And although this is true, we must always remember that our actions can always go a long way. And sharing awareness with others is a big step to letting others be informed that our environment needs help. Number 3, advocate for sustainable policies. We always have to stay informed about our community and what policies are being pushed for, so that when we vote and when we have our own say in things, we are always informed about what we are advocating for and what we are representing as a community.
In conclusion, climate change is a global issue affecting all communities. It is caused by the greenhouse gas effect. Aside from physical damage due to natural disasters, younger generations, especially in low-income families, are susceptible to mental strain due to the anxiety and stress for the future. Combating global issues need to be done on a larger scale, but we have the ability to make changes within our own communities to promote a safer environment. Thank you.